Hi everyone, Canoopsy here, and this is the iPhone 5S, the cheapest iPhone that you can actually buy today that will support the latest new version of iOS software till September 2019. You can buy an unlocked 5S for as little as $70 US to $100 US used or refurbished, so it is of course very cheap for an iPhone. I've also loaded the iOS 12 beta on this device, which will actually be available to everyone this fall to see what performance and some of the new features are actually like. But first, on the design side, the iPhone 5S still looks excellent. It looks super clean and those chamfered edges stand out and make the device look satisfyingly luxurious, although you can expect some wear and tear on those edges over time. You also have touches like great buttons, a headphone jack, and a single speaker that just sounds average. There's also a front fingerprint scanner here with the first version of Touch ID, and compared to iPhones of today, it is definitely pretty slow, but it still does work. You're also going to notice the size of this phone. It is kind of a negative as the phone is awfully tiny with a 4-inch display that makes things like typing, video watching, and gaming not the most comfortable of experiences ever. But to be totally honest, the display isn't really that bad looking though. It could be a bit brighter, a bit more vibrant, and of course the size takes some getting used to, but for most people, it is totally still usable. The biggest thing to look at here though is of course the performance. This phone is almost over 5 years old, so in 2018, how is it still going to treat you? Well, it really depends what type of user you actually are. If you use your phone extremely casually just for light emails, calls, texts, and some very light social media, you should be good. But when you push it for other things, that's when it gets a bit challenging for this phone. So the phone is running the iOS 12 beta, which has optimized the device for faster app launches, faster keyboard pop-ups, and faster camera launches, and all those type of things that kind of boost the speed by a little bit for daily usage. iOS 12, besides the speed boost though, doesn't really give this phone too many new or truly useful features. You of course have that new recording app, the new stocks app, the new Siri shortcuts app, as well as the new notifications and do not disturb settings that are quite useful as well, but besides all those kind of things, nothing really too significant. Now I don't have all my daily apps on this device, mainly because I don't have enough storage on this phone. I only have 16GB, and my main phone, the iPhone X, has 64GB with a whole bunch of applications and other content as well. But I have loaded some of the main daily applications I do use on a daily basis, like Instagram, Twitter, Gmail, YouTube, all those type of things. Animations are actually incredibly speedy on this device, but when it actually comes to loading applications, that's when it takes a while. Opening content-heavy apps like Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube will definitely feel slowish, and when scrolling and typing, you're also going to feel a bit of lag and delay as well. A big issue with using this phone in 2018 though, is that many applications require more RAM than this phone actually has. Like Fortnite for example, and ARKit applications just don't work at all. The phone is thankfully 64-bit, so we'll accept most applications for the next little while, but 1GB of RAM in 2018 really isn't enough for some of these heavy applications, as well as just simply multitasking. Thankfully PUBG does work on this phone in those settings, but even then, there is still some occasional lag and frame drops even on the lowest settings. It is still kind of playable though. Basically, as a summary of performance, this phone is under $100, and also don't forget, it's a little over 5 years old as well. So it's not going to be a super fast, blazing quick device, but that being said, it is still usable. Throughout this phone's long 5-year lifetime, it's either been used by me or someone else, so of course the battery cell isn't going to be that great for daily performance. I can barely even make it through a few hours with this phone's original battery cell, and I can actually see the battery literally draining before my eyes most of the time, so if you do buy this phone used, definitely get a replacement battery as well. And finally, the cameras. So selfies are really not that great, but the rear camera at 8 megapixels is capable of taking some okay shots. You're not getting incredible dynamic range, contrast, sharpness, or great colors compared to newer phones of today, but shots are still kind of usable as well. There's sadly no form of stabilization at all, so some shots may come out a bit shaky, and 1080p video is really not stable at all, but for the quick snap, this is a totally usable device, so that gets a pass. Okay, so over 5 years later, the most compelling reason to buy this phone today is of course that price point. As I said in the intro, this is the cheapest iPhone that you can actually buy today that will support the latest version of iOS software for a full year. So you're getting the latest updates, latest features, and the latest everything. But keep in mind, the iPhone 6 and 6S that are close in price at $150 or $200 US are definitely a better choice. They have better processors, better cameras, they're much faster, and are going to get software updates for even longer periods of time just for a bit more. But if your budget caps at $100 and you just have to have an iPhone, the 5S is the easiest and cheapest way to actually enter the Apple ecosystem on an extreme budget. So based on what you saw in this video today, would you buy an iPhone 5S for under $100? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you for watching.